What's up? So doing another video. Again, you can thank my baby daddy Canyon for this one. I wasn't planning to record something for at least another week or something, but here we are. And in case you're wondering what we're listening to in the background, it's Goat Moon with Voito Tai Valhalla. Don't give me any shit about Goat Moon. I already know. Don't really give a shit. Moving on. And in case any of you are wondering, I will eventually get around to the next CD bit. I know that one is far more overdue than vinyl videos, but honestly, this is talking about vinyls. What's keeping me going right now. Honestly, CDs just have not been that interesting, especially considering that my setup currently does not support CD playing. I still have my old record player, but I'm kind of out of room because even that space where I have those cans set up, not really enough space to hold it. So anyway, first on the chopping block is Innsmouth with Consumed by Elder Sign. And a lot of you might be thinking to yourself, what the fuck is an Innsmouth? To answer that question, that goes back to H.P. Lovecraft. And if you don't know who H.P. Lovecraft was, Cthulhu, that's pretty much the main thing that he's known for. Lovecraftian horror, insanity kind of shit. It's kind of the whole premise of the game Amnesia: The Dark Descent. Anyway, I was actually looking up, God, I don't even know, I think 3 years ago at this point, Lovecraft themed, lyrically themed bands, just because I kind of found the subject super interesting, and right around that time I got the complete fiction of H.P. Lovecraft, because, I don't know, something about eldritch monstrosities is super interesting. And Innsmouth is one of the bands that came up, and I saw old school death metal. I was like, that's interesting. I'll give it a shot. And sure as shit, only two things I could fucking find at the time that they've done. There might be more, there might not be. It's been a few years since I've actually looked. But I had to grab them. I had to grab them because I listened to a little bit of it on YouTube, and it was fucking amazing. And I'm pretty picky when it comes to old school death metal. And I know that's like a super popular thing to say in the fucking hemisphere that I find myself circling with Sean, Canyon, Kevin. But sincerely, I really am. It's kind of rare for me to get into an old school death metal band, but god damn it, the riffing on this is fan-fucking-tastic. The artwork is doing it a lot of favors too, because I really dig that almost like marker watercolor paint look of just the rotting and bloated bodies over here. And speaking of which, there's the back with all the gentlemen on there. I don't believe that Innsmouth is still a band, or at least still around, which is unfortunate because I believe I have their demo and then this, and I think this is the only full-length album that they put out. Again, I could be mistaken. This is kind of a last-minute video, so I didn't do a whole hell of a lot of research. But yeah, fuck it. Anyway, continuing on. This is recorded in 2013. Just found that out through the back of it. Again, I apologize for the lack of research, but I kind of wanted to get a video out. And on the credits, it's funny, especially if you know any kind of, even a small bit of H.P. Lovecraft-related lore. Night Gaunt, guitars and aqualungs, Neanderthal, drums of Dagon, Brown Jenkin, bass and vocal Yog-Sothothery. That's funny as fuck. Yeah, on the inside you've just got a couple of illustrations. Thrice Blessed by Shub-Niggurath. If you know, again, and know anything about H.P. Lovecraft, something, the goat of 1,000 young. So it matches what the lyrics are about for the most part. Yeah, just lyrics through the rest of it. Credits are in the back. Here's the vinyl itself. Center labels. It's just black. You're not missing anything. So, in short, Innsmouth is fucking amazing, and you really need to check them out. It would be great if more people fucking knew about this band, honestly. And even if, the whole H.P. Lovecraft and everything that he believed personally doesn't really appeal to you, the music is still fucking good. Obviously, I don't give a shit. I'm playing Goat Moon in the background right now. But yeah, this is Innsmouth with Consumed by Elder Sign. Next on the chopping block, I just can't seem to escape you, Canyon. This is actually something I bought off of him. He was selling shit on his Instagram story. This is Lvcilyre with The Calling Depths. And if you know anything about Lvcilyre, it's that they are right up there with kind of more old school Archguild, and they are right up there with, I won't say the intensity of Revenge, but they're, say Revenge is in first place, as far as like intensity goes, by comparison, they're probably at about third. Especially if you've listened to Sun Eater at all, you know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. It really is like a musical descent through the depths of hell. It's like right there with fucking Pseudo-God with Deathwing Catechesis. Anyway, here's the back of it. Super fucking cool, like, it almost seems like really biblically accurate Angel. I believe this was put out in 2010, if I'm not mistaken. And then here's the lyric sheet with credits on the back. Here's the center labels for the fucking thing. Again, vinyl's on black, so you're really not missing much. And then, lastly, what comes with this is this kick-ass poster that I might actually be putting up as soon as I can get some more frames. And I know I didn't really recommend anything from Innsmouth, but that's A, kind of because I forgot, and B, that's a situation where you really need to check out the whole album. It works a lot better as a cohesive, I find, than just the album by itself, or like individual songs. This, however, I will give recommendations on. Succubi is a really good one. The Calling Depths, pretty good, and Husk of Impurity. Those I'd say check out from this in particular, but if I were you, I would just go straight and listen to Sun Eater, especially because I believe it's either guest vocals or just in the music video, but Mark of the Devil from Cult de Ghoul actually has something to do with that fucking song. It's been a few years, so I've forgotten, sue me. But anyway, yeah, Lvcilyre is a fucking standout, like, blackened death metal band, cavernous blackened death, if you will. Not really, I wouldn't necessarily classify them as war metal, but they're pretty fucking close. They're not, like I said, they're not as the same intensity as Revenge, but they're pretty goddamn close. So yeah, check it out if you fucking haven't heard of Lvcilyre. Highly recommended, especially if you're into that kind of shit. The Calling Depths. Alright, next we've got Tonal Shift, but Woods of Ypres with Woods 5, Grey Skies, and Electric Lights. I had to glance at that title for a minute because that one's a little bit complicated. Most of the Woods of Ypres albums titles are kind of complicated. It's like trying to read off an Inquisition title from memory. Exception being Woods 4 Green Album. Hey Hoosies, moving on. There's the back, and if you don't know Woods of Ypres, kind of started out as a much more like Black Doom sort of fusion. Not Black Doom particularly, but some Black, some Doom. It's really kind of, Woods of Ypres is really kind of its own style, and it really always has been from the get-go. Particularly Woods 4 kind of had a huge, like, I wouldn't say huge departure, but a departure nonetheless from the style that they had set up in the first, like, 3 releases. Again, it wasn't massive, but it was definitely a lot more, like, melodic and a lot more Doom-infused, so on and so forth. First song I ever heard from Woods of Ypres was Wet Leather. God, I don't even remember how fucking long ago, but it really resonated with me when I did hear it, and ever since then I've been a huge fucking fan. Well, I wouldn't say huge fan, but a fan nonetheless, enough to fucking be able to get this, and I eventually plan on getting everything from Woods of Ypres, because David Gold, rest in fucking peace, really was a lyrical genius and a kick-ass fucking musician. This is the last album that they did. I believe, actually, right before this, I was doing a little bit of just looking up out of curiosity when I was spinning this. Apparently, everybody, I think, except the guitarist, he had fired and he and the guitarist were going to finish this up, and it wasn't quite mixed and mastered yet when David Gold got into the car accident that unfortunately cut his life short. But yeah, what a fucking album to go out on, dude. As much as it sucks we're never gonna get a Wood 6, this is still a kick-ass fucking album. It's not an Exit, Keeper of the Ledger, Career Suicide is not Real Suicide, Kiss My Ashes Goodbye, and then Finality. I had to look at them, again, fucking sue me, but they really are such good songs, dude. They're so sorrowful and mournful, and you can really hear and feel the emotion that David Gold put into all of his fucking lyricism. And as somebody who does that myself, I really fucking resonate with that, and I love pretty much everything that he's fucking done. Anyway, here is the vinyl with the center labels. Not missing much. Literally the same for the center labels, but it is white vinyl, which, given the album cover and the fact that I kind of mostly listen to that album during winter, I feel like it's really fitting. Then you just get a lyric sheet. This is literally it, and you can even see here, lyrics, music, David Gold, in memory of David Gold, 1980 to 2011, to the music we played, the music we wrote, and the music we would have. And again, I would really like for there to be more Woods of Ypres put out, but kind of like how Lemmy is the heart and soul of Motorhead, David Gold really was the heart and soul of fucking Woods of Ypres, and I completely understand not going forward, because wow, what a fucking active follow-up, dude. Anyway, if the sound clip sounds interesting to you, there's a lot more like it. I highly recommend starting with Woods for the Grain album, then going to this, and then going to visit some of the older shit. But this is still, even if you jump in straight here, this is one hell of a fucking album. This is Woods of Ypres with Woods 5, Grey Skies and Electric Light. Anyway, next up, another complete and total tonal shift. I'm just grabbing these fucking things at random. It really would have made more sense to follow up Lvcilyre with this, but oh well, here we are. This is Deiphago with Into the Eye of Satan. This is much more along the lines of Pseudo-God and fucking Revenge than Lvcilyre is, but it's still, again, not quite the harshness and intensity of Revenge, but it's not even like, it's like second and that, or like first and a half place really, because Deiphago, holy fucking shit, this is intense. This is really fucking intense. It is not easy listening music, and if somebody you know tries to recommend you Deiphago Into the Eye of Satan and you don't really know where to start with something on a more intense side of like black and death metal, they fucking hate you. There's no other way to fucking put it. But yeah, this is a really fucking good album. I believe this is on Mr. Count Blagareth's 2015 Album of the Year list. I could be wrong there. Not quite sure. But all I know is that as soon as I saw it on his list, I immediately knew that I had to invest in it. And sure as shit, I was not fucking disappointed. Just managed to pick this up recently though, because it's never really been super high on my priority list to grab this, but it's still good. And as soon as I saw it for $10 at a fucking record store I went to with my uncle and my aunt, like, I knew I had to fucking pick it up. And here we go with the vinyl. This is side A, side B, and it's a little difficult to tell. There you go. That's a little bit better. But it's like this really super cool, like, swirl. Yeah, definitely a swirl and not so much a splatter. I would want to say that if they were going to call this variant anything in particular, it would probably be Oxblood. And something to note about Lvcilyre as well is that they're, I forget the band. It's not AMSG that I'm thinking of. It's a different fucking band, but it's something else that Sean really fucking enjoys. That they're really, really serious about their anti-cosmic Satanism. Literally just remembered it. It's Tetragrammaticide. they're really fucking serious about what they write, and I can appreciate that. Something that's intense, lyrically and musically, and it's not just for, we're fitting into the genre, spooky Satan, yeah. I fucking am with most other people. I really don't like that, and sometimes the biggest posers really do make some really good fucking music, and then I'll get behind it, but for the most part, when there's actual passion going into what you're writing and singing about, the music's gonna come out better. Prime example, fucking Imperial Decadence. I'm sure Inquisition is right the fuck up there. Carnifex, obviously, you can tell Scott Lewis puts everything into his fucking lyricism. Archgoat, these are just examples I'm naming off the top of my head from what I can see around me, but usually my favorite bands revolve around people who take their lyricism super seriously and aren't super goofy just to fit into the fucking stereotype of it. Anyway, here's the other side of that. And lastly, what comes in this little bundle is this fucking incredible poster that this one will definitely be getting its own fucking frame. I can assure you of that. It's just going to be a matter of hoping that the frames that I normally get for these three are going to be enough. Anywhoosies, moving on and finishing this one off. Yeah, Deiphago, really fucking intense. They're a step above Lvcilyre, but like half a step below Revenge, and Revenge is like a step below Tetragrammicide, because honestly, Tetragrammicide I find to be, more often than not, if I've tried it recently, it's been borderline fucking unlistenable. This actually has a little bit of fucking melody, and it's not just pure chaos and fucking guitar feedback and noise, which I like. And again, the lyrically intense and musically intense aspects coming together really fucking solidifies it for me. So yeah, don't check this out if you are brand fucking new to black and death metal or war metal or what have you. And again, if somebody sends this to you as their first recommendation, they fucking hate you and they don't want you, and they're gatekeeping you, essentially. But yeah, if you're more experienced and you haven't heard of them before, check them out. That's Deiphago with Into the Eye of Satan. Next up on the chopping block, we've got Horndal with Lake Drinker. And before you wonder what that is the hype sticker, because I'm a big fucking nerd and I like saving hype stickers. Go to hell. Anyway, this is some really fucking good death metal. This shit is super, it's not melodic death metal, right? It's not like Amon Amarth kind of shit, but it's melodic enough to not be monotonous and kind of the same thing over and over again, but it's also, I don't want to say brutal because that doesn't really encompass this correctly, but it's definitely, I guess intense is the word that I'd use. It's super fucking good, and I actually just read the back of it because it's been a little bit since I've listened to this record, but I assure you, I have listened to this one probably like fucking 10 or 12 times since I got the vinyl. Prior to me getting the vinyl, I was listening to it non-fucking stop from last year, because this came out in 2021. But I was just reading the back of it, because again, it's been a little bit. But the true horror story of our hometown Horndal, former industrial town in Dalarna, Sweden. Basically about a steel factory that shut down after it employed basically the whole town and left the town to rot and turn to fucking rust. Which is super fucking cool. I really, really like to hear stories, lyrically or true, about how industrialization and privatization and corporations literally just fucking destroy everything. And don't get me wrong, I'm no, just college communist or anything. I don't claim to know anything about economics. I don't really have a stance on it one way or another. All I know is that I don't fucking like Jeff Bezos, and I don't like the fact that we live in an oligarchy. That's a simple fact of it. But regardless, I don't claim to be any kind of financial expert or economics expert. So again, as far as that goes, I don't really have a stance, but it's not, I live 45 minutes from a fucking steel mill that's right by Lake Michigan, and when I tell you that when I went up north, in Michigan itself, for a vacation last year, sometime in April, I want to say, March or April. It was astounding the difference of how clean the lake water was, 150, 200 miles up north as compared to where, near where I live at. It was baffling how different and how clear the water was just from the sleepy little town that we were in. So again, shit like that, I really like hearing stories about how just destroying the fucking environment and literally leaving whole populations to just, go to hell. We don't really care about you. We were in it for the profits anyway. Anywhoosies, there's the back of it. Here is the credits and what I'm assuming to be a picture of the aftermath of the state that the steel factory left the town in. There's the lyric sheet with some really on-the-nose fucking art. And I know that, here's the vinyl by the way, before I continue. There's art from the cover, and then, again, more of the on-the-nose shit. And this is, you can see it, it's like semi-translucent, but it's like really like pollution, like dehydrated piss yellow is the best way I can describe it, which, again, super on the nose, but considering where the music is coming from, makes a hell of a lot of sense. But to go into a little tangent, if you know me, you know I bitched and moaned and groaned about how Thy Art Is Murder literally just reused artwork from the cover all the fuck over the vinyl pressing of Dear Desolation. And this I find to be a little bit different because it's not just a macro image and then another macro image and then another one and then another one literally stamped throughout the whole thing. This is the only other time you're going to see it apart from looking at the artwork, which I find to be acceptable and pretty cool. And plus, it's not just some like watercolor painting of like a sheep suckling on a wolf's teeth. It's actually like, again, really on the nose symbolism, but it's still pretty cool in my opinion. Anywhoosies, moving on. Like I said, you guys really need to fucking check this shit out. Horndal's Bloodbad, The Uprising, Growing Graves Home, Thorbear. Again, this is pretty much just like Innsmouth. I understand I'm a little bit scatterbrained right now. I kind of have my ADHD meds wearing off, so forgive me. But I know I didn't really give out anything for Deiphago, but that is right along the lines of Innsmouth, but for an entirely separate reason. It doesn't really work if you're just picking and choosing songs. Into the Eye of Satan is kind of something that really requires a complete and total listen through, because the songs don't work as good if they're just by themselves. You just need to keep the pummeling going. This, on the other hand, I'd say is worth the full listen through from front to back, then front to back, then front to back, then front to back, because that is exactly what I've done with this album several times. And yet it is melodic enough to keep me interested, but not like overly technical and wankery like Necrophagist or something, but it's also not rhythmic and boring and by the numbers death metal. It is super fucking interesting, and I highly fucking recommend you check out Horndal in general, especially Lake Drinker. Yeah, Horndal, Lake Drinker. Next up, we've got Migwa with Age of Excuse, and I'll be damned if this isn't like my favorite fucking Migwa art ever. And I think a lot of it has to do with obviously the big ass image right here of, well, frankly, I'm not sure, but then the super subtlety that you might not catch on the first time looking at it, because I know I didn't, of all these guys under here. That's super fucking cool. There's really not a whole hell of a lot to show off with this one. There's just lyrics on the back, and especially if you know Northern Heritage and No Solace, like, this is pretty much it. Here's vinyl, just black, and again, if you know Northern Heritage, no shit. And this one is a bit of a deviation, not just by the center label, because normally the center label just has Northern Solace's like little knife logo on it. That is a little bit different, but this actually comes with a fucking lyric sheet on it too. I don't even think that Exercises in Futility had a fucking lyric sheet with it, so this is new territory. To kind of go along with the new territory, though, this album, it's good. Don't misunderstand me. It is really good. Mgła, I don't think has put out bad fucking music. Period. But this unlike Exercises in Futility and With Hearts Towards None, this is more along the lines of like Groza, where you really kind of need to be in the mood to listen to it. Again, not bad. The M's guitar work is fucking on point as usual, and Darkside's fucking drums are amazing. The lyrics are delectably fucking misanthropic, which is exactly what I like Mgła so much for, besides, you know, the incredible riffing. And again, especially coming from Darkside, the drum work that I've come to expect after listening to them for probably the second time in my life. When I heard Exercises in Futility again, I've expected and gotten nothing short of greatness. But again, this is less something I can put on at any time that I want, more something that I really have to be in the mood to listen to. And really, that's about it. There's not too much more to talk about with this one. I know this one is like really, really fucking short, but again, frankly, like there's nothing really to go into with the packaging. There's nothing really too much to go into with the music. I'd say Age of Excuse 1, Age of Excuse 3, and Age of Excuse 4 are probably the songs I'd check out from this. This isn't really something that works better as a cohesive whole as much as any of the other ones that I've shown today. But again, make sure you're in the mood to listen to a Mgła record. Not just a black metal record, but specifically a Mgła record. Something, again, this one kind of lines more up with Groza, so I'd listen to it, but only if you're in a Groza kind of mood or you're a big fan of that album. Anyway, check it out if you fucking haven't, and show Mgła some love. This is Mgła with Age of Excuse. And for anybody who has designed and actively likes these on your record sleeves, why? And follow-up question, who hurt you? And last, but certainly not least, we have Mutilation with Vampires of Black Imperial Blood. Yeah, if I remember right, I think this is what everybody considers to be the inferior artwork for this album specifically. I'm not Canyon. I'm no major expert on Mutilation. This and I can't remember the name of the other album, are the only two that I own. But I'm glad that I do, and I saw this for sale at a record show in 2020, and I just knew I had to fucking have it, dude. Like, Mutilation is good shit. It's gonna be a fun listen regardless. There's the back. Not really a whole hell of a lot to look at. I forget the fucking goofy bastards. Maynok, that's his fucking name. Yeah, here we go. Mordred and Maynok. Like, dude, just... he looks so sad. He looks like he just needs a hug or some ice cream, and then motherfucker looking like he's gonna do a fucking drug deal or some shit over here. Their corpse paint promo pictures are always the best, and they're great for a fucking laugh. Like, they are literally, next to Rob Darkin, the epitome of people looking silly and doing corpse paint. I fucking adore it. On a semi-different note, though, the music isn't really silly. The music is super fucking lo-fi, super serious. I don't even know the fucking lyrics to Mutilation, primarily because this one didn't come with a fucking lyric sheet. I don't know if any Mutilation comes with a lyric sheet, but it's interesting and it's diverse enough to certainly hold my attention. It's no Dark Throne clone, and it sure as hell isn't a Mayhem clone or anything like that. Mutilation has always kind of gone its own way, and I don't really know. I was just about to say, I don't know the circle that Mutilation found themselves in, but I think it's literally Black Legions. I could be very wrong on that. Yeah, again, could be very wrong. Don't really know. Don't really care all that much. I'm not really super big into, like, inner circles and shit like that. that's really obscure and esoteric for literally no reason. I was about to try and remember these songs off the top of my head, but again, that is much like trying to remember an Inquisition song off the top of your head. Borderline fucking impossible. I was gonna say song 2, 4, but song Born Under the Master's Spell, Ravens of My Funeral, Black Imperial Blood, Eternal Empire of Majesty and Death. Super good. And again, Mutilation is one of those bands you don't really want to try to get into raw or black metal with, or black metal in general, because it is kind of does fit a certain niche, which isn't bad, but it really is for the people who are more weathered to the style of music in general. Although I would say once you're more seasoned into, you know, the general feel, and you're more into, you know, you find yourself listening to shit like Vlad Tepes, absolutely check out Mutilation. And to be as expected, disc 1, you have to look at the back in order, unless you really know your shit off the top of your head, you have to actually look at the back of the fucking jacket in order to make sense of what's what. But there's the center label, it's the same on the other record, on both of them, they're both black. Anywhoosies, this is the last time I'm going to say that word for the rest of the fucking video, especially considering we're almost done. But yeah, like I said, Mutilation really fits into a certain niche when it comes to black metal. That doesn't make it bad, and I don't really care about the whole inner circle thing. I just care about the fact that Maynok and Mordred made some really good fucking music when they were doing Mutilation specifically, even if it was raw as shit. So yeah, you need to check out Mutilation if you're a fan at all of that style. Highly recommend it. This is Mutilation with Vampires of Black Imperial Blood. Anyway, that's it for this fucking video. This is a bitch and a half to record, but yeah, I'm hoping you guys enjoy it. I'm gonna try to get back more into the spirit of things. Shit's been a little bit weird. I'm kind of running out of records, but that just means a new CD video is gonna be coming out shortly here. And yeah, thanks for watching, and deuces.